Hello everyone, I'm Mark Chalero, the owner of MS Classic Cars. Welcome to our exotic division. In all seriousness, today I'm presenting you a very rare and extremely authentic 1956 Sila, the Baby Ferrari Bimbo Racer, serial number 818. To start off this video here, this is a non-rehearsed video. Please bear with me throughout the process. I am going to reference some notes here. You can reference our website at msclassiccars.com for a full description with tons of highly detailed photos. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, please note I only collect number 1 and number 2 condition vehicles. That falls right into some of the other items that we present that are off of our beaten path, such as this amazing Bimbo Racer here today. Every item that I sell, I include a brand new binder like I've done for this here with all the information that we've acquired. I put everything in plastic sleeves for the new owner to enjoy. So to first touch base on this junior movement here, which was mostly in the 50s, the idea behind these juniors were that the dealerships wanted a way to attract people to the showroom. A lot of the times they thought, what an easy way to get people into our showrooms with their kids on a Saturday afternoon if we have these juniors, which was mostly marketed toward children of ages 6 to 10 years old. Ford did it with their juniors, and then Ferrari jumped on board with this Bimbo Racer, and let me tell you something, it has become a very, very desirable and highly collectible piece, because rumor has it that they've laid less than a few thousand of these. They were imported to the US, they were imported to Canada through San Francisco, California. Only a select few dealers receive them. We don't know exactly how many are left today, but that number is extremely limited. I've been on different websites, different forums. Some people estimate there might be 25, there might be 50, but the number is very, very small. This particular one that you're looking at here today, serial number 818, is probably one of the best examples in the world, and it is a little bit of a one-of-a-kind, which I'm going to get into in a minute. So to start off, I'm going to go over some of the history first, and then what we'll do is we'll kind of go into the details about this, and then toward the end of the presentation, I'm going to operate it and go over some of its mechanical features. So the first thing is, and I'm going to read this from our description on our website here, it was designed by Giovanni Michelotti, who basically did it to resemble the Ferrari 375 mm. They were built, again, in Italy. They were imported to the US, as I mentioned. It's believed, again, that only a few of these were sold over the years. They were done and so forth. And the body on these is a reinforced body. It's light, it's durable, quiet, rust-proof. It originally came with a polished lacquer finish, functional taillight, Simulated this is a carburetor air scoop here. That's what that was all about. And then, of course, the rubber-bound, shatterproof, clear plastic windshield that was on the front. It was available in 3 colors, which were Ferrari Red with beige, as you see with this example here today, and also the Como Blue with gray leatherette, or Riviera White with red leatherette. So only 3 color choices were available when these were made. The steel wheels came with decorative wheel covers and knockoff hubcaps. The wheels were wrapped with 13-inch tires with tubes. The interior features include the contoured leatherette covered seats for 2, rubber carpeted mat, and a light switch on the panel. The motor was a 125-watt, 1,000 RPM, 12-volt electrical system that's powered by a 12-volt automobile battery. The transmission was a chain drive, 3-position gear, which is neutral, forward, and reverse, with mounted lever. The chassis has an extra rigid steel frame, independent on the front wheels, and torsion bar suspension on the rear wheels. The mechanical features include 4-inch brakes with fade-resistant linings, mechanical parking on the rear wheel, foot brake pedal, accelerator pedal, racing car positive steering, built-in battery recharger, and Italian sports horn. The performance includes 5 to 7 miles per hour or 35-mile range, 5 to 6 hours of continuous operation before the battery needs recharging. It climbs with a 20% grade. So that's kind of the story there. Again, I composed a ton of information that I gathered, and I put that into one big paragraph. That's a lot of helpful stuff, so you clearly understand what this is all about. On that note, we have, which is listed in our photo gallery, this original ad that was done by Ferrari. It says imported from Torino, Italy, the Baby Ferrari. And again, it says real tires, real brakes, real lights, rear gear shift, accelerator, Italian sports horn, and it goes into all the details that I just went over here with you today. Also, there's some more advertisements here. This is such a classic picture. It's a real car for pre-teen men and women of distinction. Very, very cool shot here on the beach with all the water in the background. Again, advertising it for the dealers. There's another print ad here. And then there's some information on assembly of how they did it, which we've included here. And then, of course, we have pictures of this entire restoration, which, again, makes it extremely authentic, which I'm going to get into now. So, serial number 818, that's what I'm going to refer to it as, was purchased in the early 60s by George Pendergast. Now, this is a really cool story because it kind of circles back to MS Classic Cars, and I'll explain why. George was an auto racer who lived in Connecticut and in Massachusetts, and he discovered serial number 818 for sale at a local race with his nephew, Don Frigion. So we're going back now into the early 60s, okay? They were at a race, they saw this for sale. It had to be maybe 5, 6 years old, not 100% sure who originally bought it, but somehow it ended up at the race for sale. And of course, George saw it, his nephew Don was with him, he fell in love with it, he bought it. So, Don enjoyed it for many years as a young child. It remained with Don and his family for the next 55 years. This was in his possession for 55 years. Before it was time to go, he decided to put it on Facebook Marketplace. And this is a place where you, if you're not familiar with it, of where to advertise certain items and everything else. When he listed it, I'm referring to Don, he actually put it in the wrong category, and he put it in the musical items category. So a gentleman by the name of Carl Osborne, who's become a friend of mine, who actually, there's pictures that we have of him at the dealership when he delivered this. He actually found it because he's into guitars and music and so forth. He saw it listed, he immediately fell in love with it, called Don, and they strike a deal. That was in 2017. So Carl had a lot of experience with restorations, paint work, and assembly, and things like that. So he decided to go ahead and accept the challenge, and he went hard to work. Now, as the restoration photos document, this was in very good condition, and it was originally the Como blue color with the gray leatherette interior. I want to be very clear on it. And again, you can see all these photos on our website gallery, but he was kind enough here to really do a great job with all these photos that you see. And during the restoration process, he decided to simulate the very famous 1954 Ferrari 375mm that was the winner of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So you can clearly see that this particular vehicle here represents that car, which makes it truly a one-of-a-kind. All that he really did was he changed the front windshield, similar to the one that's on the car here in the picture, and then of course he added some of the decals and so forth. So again, these are some photos here to reference that car. If you don't know much about that, you can Google it. There's a ton of information online. But here are more photos that just basically show what it looked like when he had gotten it, and then he did some kind of before and after photos here. He made a comment, pretty face. Again, you can see when it was more in its original state, restored state. He put nice butt here. He did the back of it. He got the unrestored, restored. He goes into the same thing with the front. And then, of course, the original tires. It still has its original tires. So again, this is a picture before and after. Again, the original tires, which are on it today. Interesting story how he actually preserved those tires. He soaked them for months and months. This was a restoration that was done over a 4-year period. This is a lot of work went into this. This is showing the original serial tag, which is inside. Again, to find these is one thing. To find them with the original serial tag is another. All of that information is documented here and so forth. You can see the early body work that he did on it. And when you flip it here, he goes into rebuilding the fender flares. It was very common that when children used these, the outer lips of these would get damaged just from hitting certain things and so forth. So he rebuilt the fender flares. You can see it all in primer. The body is laser straight. He painted it in the correct Ferrari red color, which is absolutely gorgeous. And then you can see the restoration process getting finished. And as we started to get into more of the mechanical items, the original rims were restored. You can see all of that here. The original two-wheel disc brakes were completely restored. They're all functioning. The original drivetrain was completely restored. You can see all of that in these pictures. Sometimes pictures speak louder than words here. Again, it's all documented. Here's a picture of the frame pan before the restoration, after the restoration. Again, he did a beautiful job. All the wiring, everything was done. Again, here's the motor that was rebuilt and runs excellent. He sent the motor to a shop and had it professionally gone through. It runs beautiful. Again, I'm going to demonstrate that here in a minute. Again, more pictures, and then of course all the interior work and so forth. It just goes on and on. Here's a picture of it at a car show, which looks absolutely stunning. So again, that's the story of kind of how he acquired it, the restoration that he did to it. Everything again is documented. I'm going to flip here to the second page. Just make sure before I start to get into the mechanical features here, I think I covered everything. So a few things on the outside before I get into that. The exterior was outfitted with new headlights, new bezels, the V12 emblem, and the hubcaps. Those are not original components. I just want to be very transparent and clear about that. The original wheels and tires, as I mentioned, were restored. The interior was also completely restored. It was outfitted with a new steering wheel, new switch for the lights, button for the horn, and a logo that he added to the dash that would normally have not been there. The headlights, the rear tail light, and the horn are all in working order. And again, the original motor was professionally rebuilt and works excellent. A brand new battery was just added. It has a 12-volt battery. It works awesome. The transmission, again, shifts, and I'm going to show you all of that. So to end this part of the description presentation, in recent years, juniors, especially Bimbo racers, have largely become sought after by collectors and enthusiasts for several reasons. Like art sculpture, a few factors play into collectability for a junior. 4 major ones being the designer, the manufacturer, the quality, and the rarity. This Baby Ferrari here checks all those boxes. It is truly awesome to find one again in this condition, to find one that is this documented is truly a rare opportunity. So a couple things we're going to start doing here with the exterior that I want to just highlight. Again, the paint on this is spectacular. We've wet sanded it at MS Classic Cars. So we cut through the paint, we compounded it, we polished it, we waxed it to bring it to the level that you see here today. As I mentioned, all of these headlight bezels are brand new. The headlights are new. This badge right here, the Sila badge, this is actually the original badge. You can see where it's a little bit worn out, where the V12 emblem is new. Obviously, the stickers are new. For anybody who maybe doesn't like the idea that he made it look like the famous 54 375mm that won the 24-hour Le Mans, you can easily remove these decals here. These are just decals, and if you wanted to do a little homework and you wanted to put on the correct windshield, you could easily do so. But he definitely wanted his to be unique and stand out in a crowd. And on that subject, before I forget, how cool is this? He actually bought a child's size helmet here, painted it a very similar color to the car, or maybe it was already painted before he bought it, added some decals to it, the number 4, and just as a little thing to add here, I want to make sure I mention that. That is included. There's a few things that are included that we've pictured within our listing. He did order brand new tires with tubes that are included. You will notice also in a picture that we took, we have a secondary seat back and seat wood frame. That's the original seat frame and seat back. It was reupholstered many years ago. The one that's in the right now, these are brand spanking new, but the originals are included. We also have a bunch of decals that are also included, so you can reference that picture and see everything that I'm referencing. So the first thing I'd like to do is demonstrate how the lights work. There's a switch inside here that you just turn on, and you will clearly see that these lights are in working order here. And it also has a horn that works excellent as well. So the horn works, the lights work. When you turn the headlights on, you also get a little light here in the rear, which we're gonna show the inside here. So when we do that, we'll actually put the camera on the back so you can see that as well. So let me go ahead and take out the back seat and this seat here, and then we'll demonstrate how it actually works regarding the motor and so forth. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is show you some of the mechanical features. Before I do that, I just wanna point out this custom stand that is included. I think this is an absolutely brilliant idea that Carl had, because when you're displaying this in any setting, it just looks absolutely spectacular. It comes with these little floor pads, so you don't have to worry about scuffing up your floors. And it actually is bolted inside to the actual stand. So when you want to remove it, you just unbolt it and take it right off. But I definitely wanted to highlight that custom stand. When we go into the interior here, you can see the interior is extremely detailed, as this entire restoration is. We have this seat here, which actually just comes out very simply, just like this. Okay, it's better to take it out from the passenger side. If you try to do it from the driver's side, it hits the steering wheel. So you go ahead and do the same thing with this here. You just take it off. Comes out really easily. And you can see on the back here that it has this little piece that slides into this here. And again, this is the entire space in the interior, which you can see is in absolutely beautiful condition. Again, as I demonstrated earlier, the headlights work. This is the headlight switch. This is the actual horn. This is a brand new steering wheel that was added during the restoration. This is that custom emblem that I was talking about earlier that he added. Again, that can be removed if somebody wanted to do so. Obviously, these floor pans here are in beautiful condition. New carpeting here. This is what they refer to as your gear lever, and this lever here is actually your emergency brake lever. So if we move this here, you can clearly see how this is actually locking up the brakes. The brakes work excellent, so that's a working emergency brake. And deep down into the cubby, you can see the actual brake pedal, and you can see the gas pedal right there. Obviously, they're both in working order. When I say gas pedal, maybe that's not the right terminology considering this is electric, but again, this is a non-rehearsed video. Getting back into some of the stuff back here, a lot of this electrical is original. He did not restore this. This piece here, this is actually if you wanted to actually charge the system. As I had mentioned earlier, you could plug these in to charge the battery. Because this is original, he has never used this, and we probably don't recommend that the new owner uses this. If you want to charge the battery, we recommend that you just charge it with a normal battery charger. So let's go ahead and we'll demonstrate to you exactly how it works and show you that it's in great working order. The camera will show this tire here for its various speeds. So right now, again, this is a 3-speed, 3 meaning the middle is neutral. Forward would be your driving forward gear. And if I push the gas pedal here, you'll see that that wheel spins forward. Okay? Put it back in neutral, and then we pull it back once. Back would be for reverse. Go ahead and do it again. And you can see that it goes in reverse order. So it's clearly an excellent working order. Again, the brakes work. The steering is nice. It turns beautifully. Again, I don't think this is something that most people are going to throw their kids in and let them tool around in, but I just want to demonstrate how nicely it operates. I don't think there's anything else that I'm forgetting. Oh, I wanted to demonstrate that rear light that I had mentioned earlier. You can see that rear light comes on. That's in working order as well. I don't think there's anything else worth mentioning here. That should pretty much conclude everything. So we appreciate you watching this video here. If you have any questions, you can call me personally. Our number is 508-557-0152. If you want to email me, the email is maja65stang@aol.com. We also ask that you sign up for our VIP email blast. We have thousands of people who follow us on our email blast. We also ask that you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. We appreciate you watching. This is a very, very special piece. Do your homework on MS Classic Cars. Do your homework on these. You're going to find this is one of the best examples in the world. It is extremely authentic, it's fully documented, and it's ready for its new home. So before I end the video, let me give you a little rock and roll.